Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Connecting Conversations with Adi and Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
I've had a really interesting couple of weeks actually with A, kind of just talking to small business owners, and B, I've done a couple of events and things. And my overriding feeling this morning is I'm sort of overawed, impressed, and a bit humbled, I suppose, by all these people just working their socks off. There's so much kind of entrepreneurial spirit going on, running alongside sort of deep concern, deep worry, loss about businesses people have been working up. And, you know, actually with a change of direction, there's like a really positive thing to that, but there's also this kind of sadness about what's behind. And it's this kind of working hard, keeping going. It's almost a bit emotional. That's kind of how I feel, and I suppose I'm sort of living it as well, as I know you are. So
yes, yeah. I hear you, and there's been a lot of feelings expressed. I was listening to your answer, and in our previous conversations we could usually pinpoint with one word how we were feeling, but listening to you, I get this. There's a lot of different feeling and emotions running around, and yes, what I hear is it's been a challengeful couple of weeks, if there's a word like this. If not, then I've just invented something. Challengeful weeks, and I feel that too. Me and my husband had a couple of challenging weeks, making sure that we knew where we were going with our businesses, our careers, reshuffling, and I hear it from other entrepreneurs as well. Is this our time to understand how we relate to challenge?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think there's this whole thing, isn't there, around lots of people saying, God, I'm more resilient and more creative than I ever thought I was, and almost going back to basics. Or somebody said on a call yesterday, I think, you know, that's why humans have survived this long, you know, because we are, but we just maybe don't see it in ourselves. And I think you're right. And I tell you what else I think is that it's only taking one person in a space to be vulnerable and to really talk truthfully about how it's been. And it's almost a relief to everybody else. And then if they're comfortable to, what I'm seeing is then people are almost you know, they're grateful for that opportunity. Then it's almost like they've been given permission to then be vulnerable and get it all out. And then what happens is everybody's looking at ways we can all support each other.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful that something is holding us back from showing our vulnerability, and yet when we cross that barrier and we show up and we show ourselves and say, this is me at my vulnerable self, the support that you get is absolutely amazing. And I would say to people, dare to be vulnerable, because what you will get back is amazing. The connections that you will really feel, and people will pick up the phone, people will drop you that email and say, hey, how are you? How can I help? Definitely. And that's a fantastic feeling.
It's brave to do.
Yes.
But it kind of always works. in my
yes.
I'm just thinking that's quite brave to say, because someone will go, no, it doesn't. But you know, I think if you're in the right space, I think, you know, if you can be that person,
yes,
helping everyone, and particularly at the moment, you know, so it is a bit brave, but actually I think it's really important, and people are really keen to help. So the other thing about it is,
Yes.
don't be afraid to say, can anyone help me with this? Because we're all looking for ways to sort of have meaning and bring value, aren't we? Always, but maybe particularly at the moment.
Yes, I agree.
Kind of help.
And it made me think, when I was listening to you and you said it always works, it made me think of history, because movements have actually started out of people showing their vulnerability. And maybe this is what we're seeing now, because we all know, I know, and probably you feel it too, entrepreneurs are under pressure, self-employed are under pressure. People who set up their businesses last year are under enormous pressure. And it's great to reach out and find the community that is right for you, the community that comes together, and you give support to other members of the community, and that community closes around you when you need help. I think we're seeing a lot of this happening.
Agree. Couldn't agree more. And finding the right community, absolutely, yeah. And just accepting it's not you. If it doesn't feel right, it's not you. It's just that's not the place for you. That's fine. But seek it out, reach for it. And I think you've talked before about be open, because actually quite often stuff comes to you when you're open, and when you're kind of being prepared for it, I guess, and building that connection. So yeah, just really inspired by that, I guess.
Interesting what you just said about being open for it, because there is a question there, I think, that we need to put out to everyone. Is that when a challenge comes your way, we go through different emotions, and we've got different feelings, and one day we feel like we can do this, and on other days we feel like, oh no, I can't do that again. But I wonder, where is that moment, that golden moment, when one decides that they're gonna roll up their sleeves and go for it, no matter what the challenge is? I think that's quite interesting. What makes people go, today I feel like I'm gonna go up to the top of that mountain and look around and look back and think, whoa, that was a bumpy ride. And on other days you feel like, I'm not too sure I can start going with this challenge. So what happens, what's the difference, and how does the community help us in terms of getting over challenges?
So that might be a really interesting. I'd love to know what everyone thinks. Maybe that's a good place to end, and we can maybe pick up again next month on some of that. But a really fascinating question, and I'd love to know what people's views are around that as we continue with these challenges that we face. Anyway, great, wonderful as ever. Great talking to you, and
really good talking to you. I enjoyed it a lot, and let's see what everyone else thinks.